In order to construct a scatterplot, you must first enter the paired data into the list feature. Typically, you will want to use list 1 and list 2. This is the default for most calculators, although you can use any lists that you want for your x and your y values. You just need to write down where you are placing them for future reference. Once you've entered your data into list feature, you're going to hit second and y equals to access the stat plot. Once you're on the number 1, you need to hit enter to turn the plot on. Using the down arrow, you can go to the type of plot that you want. The first image is the scatterplot icon. Next, you'll need to tell the calculator where your x and your y values lie. Again, this will always be defaulted to L1 and L2. If you need to change these, you will have to hit second and then the number on the calculator that will insert the new list. For the mark, you can decide if you want it to do a dot, a plus, or any other mark that you choose, and how it's going to display the individual paired data. To create the scatterplot, you're going to then press zoom and zoom stat and then enter to see the plot on your screen. Let's look at an example where student performance in schools at all levels across the United States are measured yearly. This table below gives the percentages of students proficient in reading and math in various states. We want to construct a scatterplot. Does the scatterplot show data that looks like it appears in a linear relationship? So here we have columns that give us the state, reading percentages, and math percentages. We're going to have the reading percentage be our x values, and we're going to have our math percentage. These are going to be our y values. To make this easier, I'm going to put all of my x values in list 1 and all of my y values in list 2. Notice that this is just going to be a continuation of one long chart of x values and one long chart of y values, even though they're separated. The separation is just because they need to be able to fit on an entire piece of paper. Notice I've entered my data now into list 1 and list 2. You want to double check that all of the reading percentages match up with their math percentages exactly, because again, this is paired data. So each coordinate needs to match up with its particular state. Next, we're going to construct the scatterplot using the steps above. Hit second, y equals, and stat plot. My stat is already on. Also notice that list 1 and list 2 are placed in the correct x and y lists. It's okay if your calculator does not have the information for color. This will only show if you have a TI-84 plus C or TI-84 plus CE. Once you get to this point, you're going to hit zoom and zoom stat. These are the buttons in gray along the top of your calculator. Zoom stat should be number 9 once you hit zoom. Then hit enter. You should now be able to see every single state that is listed here in this data plotted as a coordinate, which we call a scatterplot. And while the data is spread out, it does look like this is a linear correlation between the reading percentage and the math percentage, and in a positive direction. So we would say it appears to be a positive linear correlation with this data. What that means is that as the reading percentage increases for each state, the math percentage also increases.